What's the most embarrassing way you've seen a landlord lose in court? When I moved out of my old apartment, I expected a few deductions from my security deposit. Maybe a cleaning fee, a minor repair, nothing major. I'd been a good tenant, paid my rent on time, never caused trouble, kept the place clean. But when I opened the envelope from my ex-landlord, my jaw dropped. The check he sent me was less than 25% of my original deposit. No breakdown of charges, no explanation, just a smug note telling me I should feel lucky, and that most tenants don't get anything back. Then came the email. He told me flat out I had no chance of winning in court, that I should take the money and move on. He said he's never lost a court case, and that going after the full amount was just going to waste everyone's time, especially mine. He underestimated how petty I could be. I filed in small claims court the same week. The day of the hearing, I showed up early, carrying 3 neatly labeled folders, copies of the lease, photos, email exchanges, repair receipts, printouts of tenant rights. I came prepared. I sat quietly in the court lobby, waiting. Who strolls in and sits a few chairs away? Mr. Landlord himself. And for someone who supposedly had this case in the bag, he sure was chatty. He kept trying to make awkward small talk, cracking jokes, asking how my week was. I didn't respond, not once, just stared straight ahead like he didn't exist. We waited nearly 2 hours before getting called in. The court office had technically already closed, but the judge squeezed us in around 4 p.m. She starts by asking if there's any chance we can settle this without a hearing. I explained that I tried. I offered a compromise, and he rejected it. His counteroffer was insulting, nowhere close to reasonable. So, we proceed. We're sworn in. She asks to see a copy of the lease. I hand her mine. She scans through the monthly rent and the original deposit amount. Then she turns to him. What did you do with the security deposit? He replies, I deposited it. She pauses. Where exactly? Just my regular Wells Fargo account, he says with a shrug. The judge lets out a sigh, the kind that says, here we go again. She looks at me. Were you ever told what account this was held in? I tell her no. I was never given any information about it. She sighs again. Then she asks if she can speak with each of us privately. He goes first. About 10 minutes later, I'm called in. I sit down and start opening my folders, ready to defend every detail. She stops me. You're going to get your full deposit back, she says. I blink. She explains that under the Pennsylvania Landlord-Tenant Act of 1951, he was legally required to place the deposit in a separate interest-bearing account and inform me where it was held, in writing. He did none of that, so from a legal standpoint, he doesn't even have a case. I ask, what about the court fees? $133? She says since this will technically be handled as a settlement and not a judgment. She didn't press him on it, but I can ask. I say, I'm willing to split it with him, just to be done. She smiles. That's very reasonable. We return to the courtroom. She announces that he's agreed to pay the full deposit and half of the court fees. She asks how long I want to give him to make the payment. She suggests 3 business days. I say, let's give him a full week. He doesn't argue. In fact, he pulls out his checkbook and writes the check on the spot. I take it. Then I hand him back the original check, the one for less than 25%, still uncashed. Then came my final move. The judge turns to him and says, you really should read the Pennsylvania Landlord-Tenant Act of 1951. Being a landlord isn't something you half-ass. I smile, unzip my folder, and pull out a printed, highlighted copy of the act. I already brought it. You can keep this one. He takes it. I leave the courtroom with every cent I was owed, half the court costs, and all the satisfaction. He told me I wouldn't win, but today was a good day.